the Mighty Blues. My name is of course Cameron, and Everton are now out of the Carabao Cup after suffering a third round defeat to Southampton, being knocked out on penalties last night. This is going to be my review, my reaction, my thoughts, whatever you want to call it, on yesterday's game. For me, just briefly, I think it was a poor performance again, and I feel like it's a broken record. We're saying the same thing week after week. If you don't take your chances, you don't win football games, and that's exactly what happened yesterday. You know, we had many chances in the first half to put the game to bed, and we didn't take them, and we were dilly-dallying on the edge of the box, and we weren't looking to shoot, and we were trying to pass the ball into the back of the net, and it didn't work. And therefore we ended up beaten in the end. To be honest, I think we were pretty much beaten in the 90 minutes. You know, if it wasn't for the late Theo Walcott goal that takes it to penalties, we didn't look like doing anything in that game at all. We certainly didn't look like winning. And for me, as soon as it went to penalties, I knew we'd be knocked out only on penalties anyway. So it was a pointless exercise even going to penalties for me. But yeah, so we'll start off with Marco Silva's team selection. Marco Silva, despite saying previously that he wouldn't make many changes to yesterday's squad, he ended up changing 7 positions, which is a little bit contradictory of what he said. For me, briefly, it says that even Marco Silva didn't really know what he wanted to do with the squad. You know, one day he's coming out saying I'm not going to make many changes, and the next day he's making sort of pretty much a whole squad change for this game. Like I say, it says that even he didn't know where his head was at, and for me it was the wrong decision. 7 changes for me, it's just too many, and you shouldn't make that many changes to a team that have previously, and you know, in the last week won a Premier League game 3-0 at home, and the confidence has sort of grew. You know, he brings in Leighton Baines, wasn't too fussed about that. You know, fair enough, Leighton Baines is a club legend and he hasn't had much game time this season, so I'm not against Bainesy coming in and giving Luca Dean a rest. I wasn't too against that. The Stekelenburg decision, I think it set out when the team was announced and we heard Stekelenburg was in goal that we weren't really going for this game. We weren't out there to win. We weren't out there to threaten anybody. Obviously, Martin Stekelenburg is light years away from Jordan Pickford in terms of quality, and it just set out that we were going to put a second weakened team out. And for me, Everton can't afford to do that. This is a cup competition that we haven't won in years, and we haven't won any, never mind this competition, we haven't won a cup in 23 years. There's no way on earth we can look at any cup competition and say, alright, we'll disregard that and we'll play a weakened team and we'll sort of, you know, we're happy to let that one go for the season. You just can't do it unless we're steaming the league and we're sort of in the top 4 or 5 in the league and we're doing really well, or like I say, we're steaming the FA Cup. There's absolutely no chance you can say about the League Cup, alright, we won't prioritise it, we'll sort of just leave it there and we're happy to go out in the earlier rounds. So yeah, for me the team selection was wrong. Obviously Ademola Lookman come in, as well as Bernard. Kieran Dowell come in, Morgan Schneiderlin come in again. Kieran Dowell didn't do anything in the game. He was ineffective for me. He was lucky to stay on as long as he did, to be honest. I don't think he offered anything. He was confused on the ball. He was running around like a sort of a headless chicken, and I don't think that's sort of anything to do with Kieran Dowell as a player. I just think he was lost and he clearly isn't ready to step in yet, and you know, that's fair enough, but if that's the case, he shouldn't be playing at the end of the day. Ademola Lookman, after having a poor 15-20 minutes at the start of the game, I think he grew into the game. He started to get a little bit more confident. He started to go for challenges, winning balls back after losing it, and he started to show that ambition and that, you know, that heart that you want to see out of a player like that, because he does have qualities and he has got the potential to be a really good player. And you've seen that when he steams down the middle and he looks like he's going to go for the shot and he fakes it and he ends up putting the defender on his arse, and he takes a shot with his left foot instead and it ends up getting saved, but it's a good shot at the end of the day. But yeah, for me, again, he warmed into the game and he started to look like a real threat, and then he's taken off for a player in Niasse that doesn't threaten. For me, yes, he's a nuisance, and yes, he got the assist for the goal, and you know, he can be a little bit of a pain in the arse to play against, but he doesn't threaten. And Ademola Lookman, you could clearly see by his reaction when he come off, he was not happy at all, and that's fair enough. The lad was warming into the game, he was having more shots, he was winning the ball back, and he was urgent. He was the only bit of urgency we had all day in that team, was Lookman and instinct to win the ball back when he's lost it, and his instinct to pass the ball to certain players when they're in better positions than he is. And obviously we know he can hit the ball as well, and he was the only bit of urgency we had yesterday, and we took him off to bring a player on that doesn't bring any urgency at all to the game for me. Bernard, a word on Bernard. I thought Bernard done very well. I've actually put him up there as my key player for today's game. I think he was fantastic all day. He was threatening, he was dangerous, he was getting down the wing, even when he played through the middle towards the end of the second half, he was doing well there as well. He was making chances, he was seeking out balls. There was a couple of times when he played an absolute peach of a ball and there was just nobody in the space that he played the ball into, and I think that's just a little bit of miscommunication between him and Schenk and Lookman and whatever. But there was a couple of chances when he played through balls where if you're just a little bit more savvy to it, you're on the end of it and you're scoring goals, to be honest. But I think he had a fantastic game for me, and that's why I put him up there as the key player today. I think once he's a little bit more fit, he's got a bit more fitness behind him, and he's got a little bit more experience in the league, and he's focused a little bit more on his final product. There was a couple of times when he got into a shooting position and his shot just let him down a little bit because it wasn't powerful enough. Whatever, that ain't the point, to be honest. He got himself in the positions and he done very well, and that's why I put him up there as the key player. The key moment for me today, there was a couple to choose from, but the key moment for me was Richarlison's penalty miss. I don't know what he's doing, to be honest. A word on the penalties. Obviously, Richarlison starts to be too confident. It starts to be too cocky. It's a little bit of naivety by him. He's obviously a lot more confident in taking the penalty than his ability shown. He starts to samba run up. He starts to stutter, and it doesn't work. He blasts the ball straight over the bar, and I think every Evertonian at Goodison Park yesterday was looking at that. As soon as he was taking that run up, as soon as he paused and he done this stuttering, you knew where it was going. It was only going one way, and it wasn't even a little bit wide. It was fucking high and wide. It was rose ever the gladders, and you knew that was going to happen. Again, like I say, it's a little bit of naivety by him, and he needs a little bit of a slap on the arse, I think, and I'm being told that, if you ever get the chance to take a penalty again, he's one of the first to take a penalty. It's not like we'd scored 4 and they'd, scored 2 and he had a little bit of leeway. He was one of the first to in a penalty shootout that really you just need to be burying your penalties and walking back to the halfway line and getting on with it, to be honest. There's no time for run-ups like that, and especially if you haven't got the ability to then put the ball in the back of the net. So I think he needs a little bit of a slap on the arse to say, don't do that again. But I don't think that's the blame, to be honest, for the game. Walcott's penalty was poor again. It was right height for the keeper, and it was overall just a poor penalty. But like I say, I don't think we lost the game on the penalty shootout. I don't think we ever had the game, to be honest. I don't think we ever looked like winning. Even when we scored in the 85th minute, when Walcott scored the equaliser, I still had the feeling that we were going to go out on penalties, and just at no point in that game, maybe the sort of 20 minutes, the last 20 minutes of the first half, you were looking and you were thinking, alright, we could get something out of this. But certainly the second half, it didn't look like we were going to threaten at all. It didn't look like we were going to do anything. Certainly not progress into the next round. And it felt like Walcott's last goal was just sort of stringing us out an extra half an hour of watching a penalty shootout, when really, in reality, we all knew it was only going to go one way. So yeah, I'll keep this nice and brief because I understand that you guys are probably bored of hearing about yesterday's game, especially if you watched it. You're probably bored of hearing about Everton altogether for the minute. But yeah, overall for me, it was a poor performance, a performance in which we didn't take our chances. I think Marco Silva should take a lot of stick for this because of the changes he made. He brought too many players in that hadn't played enough this season. Let's be honest, Walcott's hardly played this season. Kieran Dow hasn't played other than the cup game this season. Obviously, it was the right decision to bring Bernard in, but again, if you're going to bring a player in that hasn't played that much this season in Bernard, you can't play him next to players also that haven't played as much this season. Cenk Tosun built his confidence back up against Fulham, obviously getting that goal, and again, yesterday I thought he was poor. Didn't think he had a good game at all, but then again, he's playing with players behind him that haven't had game time and haven't had the time to adjust to the game and to see what he's like as a striker this season, and therefore he didn't get any chances and he wasn't able to convert, and I dare say his confidence has probably dropped again. But yeah, for me, too many changes made. We should have gone for a strong starting 11 because it's a cup competition that we can't afford to just say, we'll leave that, we won't worry about that this season. We haven't won a trophy in 23 years, and for me, it's massive naivety by Marco Silva. And if Richarlison's Marco Silva's boy and he's naive taking a penalty, I think it's sort of ironic. And if the naivety Marco Silva had in picking the team was a little bit foreshadowing the naivety of Richarlison when he took the penalty, because I think to make that many changes in a cup competition against the Premier League side, when really if we won yesterday, we go on to play Leicester, we play a strong team against Leicester, we win that game, and then all of a sudden you're rounds away from the final sort of, and it's becoming a real possibility, but we didn't. We ended up playing a weakened team, players that hadn't played much this season, and a goalkeeper that really isn't good enough to challenge Jordan Pickford, when really we should have played the strongest team we had out. And then if players need to be rested at the weekend in the Premier League, then rest them. You know, if we go out yesterday and we play our strongest team and we win that game 3 or 4-0, and then we have to play a little bit of a weakened team against Leicester and we end up only getting a draw, I think fans would be a lot more happy than, you know, getting beat against Southampton with a weakened team and being out of a competition that realistically we could have gone on to win. And then, you know, whatever happens on Saturday happens. But yeah, overall I'm pretty disappointed with yesterday's performance, the result, the manager's choice in picking the team. His substitution again to bring Niasse on was just absolutely bonkers. He should never have come on, and let alone come on for Lookman, who was looking like the only player that could really damage Southampton at that point. But yeah, it is what it is. Another game where you were talking about it at the end and we're saying you don't take your chances, you don't win football games. But for me, I think the manager has to take the blame for this one, because it's naivety by him to make so many changes and to just disregard the cup competition that we aren't in a position to disregard, to be honest. We aren't doing brilliant in the league. The FA Cup's a lot harder to win, and now that we're out of this cup, you know, we're going to have to make sure we do well in the league, and he's going to have to make sure he has a good cup run in the FA Cup, or he's going to have a lot of pressure on him, in my opinion. But let's not worry yet. We've got Saturday to go off. Premier League fixture against Leicester, I believe it is, away. So we'll see what happens then. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. Do you agree with me? Do you think it was just a poor decision to change, you know, as much as he changed yesterday? Do you think Bernard had a good a game as I think he did? Do you think Lookman had a good game, and do you think he was right to take him off? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. Is this your first criticism of Marco Silva this season, or is it one of many that you've already had, and you know it's just starting to become clear now? Be interesting to see what you guys think. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you have enjoyed this video, please do drop it a like. Subscribe for more content from the Mighty Blues. I'll be coming at you on Friday for the game preview for the Premier League game on Saturday. Like I said, I'm humming and ahhing about making a video tomorrow, a separate video about the substitutions. I've had it in the works for a couple of weeks now. Again, there's been a couple of times where I've seen Marco Silva substitutions, and not just the players he's brought on, but the times he's made them, that I've thought that's not the right decision to make. So you never know, I might end up having a video out for you guys tomorrow, but I'll definitely have that preview out on Friday for you guys to watch. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you soon on the Mighty Blues.